Jai Hind everyone. As we all know that today we are here to discuss on the topic of startup and unicorn revolution in India. Dear friends, what is the startup? Startup is a private company or a firm which has the market value of $1 billion, and there are many categories in which a company can become unicorn like edtech, fintech, pharmacy, and etc. And there are many successful unicorn in India like physics wala, Byju's, Lenskart, Grade, and etc.
Friends.
Jayanti everyone, we are here to discuss on the topic startup in India. As we know, startup unicorn is starting with $1 billion. India is the recently India has become the third largest unicorn company in the world after US and China. There are major company of India are Lenskart and CAD and etc. And
Then friends, today here to discussion on the topic which has been assigned to us, startup unicorn in India. Unicorn is a startup that reached the valuation of dollar 1 billion. There are many startup in our country, about 107, and some are face problem, some are get loss, and some are get benefits. According to Global Index 2023, India ranked third after US and China.
And to everyone, if we talk about the startup and unicorn in India, in a business world, a unicorn is a startup that reaches valuation of 1 billion. There are many. As a September 2002, there are 107 unicorns in India. In Mobi became the first unicorn in India in 2011.
India is the third largest country who have the most unicorn. Zepto become the 109th unicorn of India. In the 2018, India have only 17 unicorn, but now India is also developing in the unicorn.
yes, dear friends, I am totally agree with you. In early 2008, there was only 17 unicorn, but now there are 109 in which Jepto is recently become the newest unicorn of India. This is very good thing for our country because the unicorn leads the country in progress, and India is expanding day by day its economic, which is a better sign for our country, and this would be required significant finance. So many startup companies are failed due to improper finance. So government also initiating some schemes like Mudra schemes from where businessmen takes loan and start a business. And government also provide 1,000 crore for the unemployment and the people much avail that business and include in startup and make this country better.
Yes, friends, I am agree with you. I want to add one more point here that if we want to make a startup unicorn, we need a good idea and implementation on that idea in the right way. India is, according to the report of 2021, India is the third number. India is India is on the third number in world after China and Russia, China and US and
Yes, friends, I'm agree with your point. In our country, there are many startup company available, like Flipkart, like PW Flipkart, and many more. And some startup company are about $10 billion, uh, like Flipkart, Paytm, Swiggy, uh, and Vaju, and any other.
Dear friends, I am totally agree with you. As we know, India is the largest unicorn company, and if India implement and this, then definitely it should be on the first rank in upcoming futures.
Good evening, friends. Today our assigned topic is startup we are in the developing phase and now we are developed very well and our unicorn and startup have performing very well in this sector and India have 109%. India is become largest country and USA and that is the great opportunity for our the youth and startup become our economy and GDP and that employment that is the good opportunity for our
Friend, were job unicorn the unicorn company has a total of and are not even India. If you talk about the
अरे भाई आवाज नहीं आ रही है तुम्हारी।
Please, friends, be in safe network area so that we can listen properly to you.
Yes, friend, I agree with
A
you. As we know
unicorn,
that,
a unicorn is a private firm with a marketing more than $1 billion, and there are many several companies like S2B and H's and Finch's etc companies and in 2018 India have only 70 unicorn, but in 2023 India has 109 unicorn, and India become third largest economy in in all over world and after USA and UK.
yes, friend, I agree
Yes,
with
According
you.
friends,
I
I
want
am
to say
agree with
that,
you, but
as we know,
for the unicorn, the
has
availability
five
of
tech
finance is
accounts
very
which
critical. But
startup
the lack
that
of
reach the valuation of 10
finance,
billion.
a lot
Tech
of
accounts in India
unicorn
are
companies
Flipkart, Paytm,
failed.
Baidu, Oyo, Swiggy, and Physics Wala. There are many India which if we talk about the Physics Wala, his income is 8,000 crore.
yes, friend, I agree with you. I want to say that startup company is that which company is founded in that day. It's called a startup, and which country is a package if reached on 10 billion in a year. It is called a unicorn company. So both are good for our country because and our government is make these company of spread by many missions like Make in India and others. If these type of company is started in our country, then it is good for our country because these provide citizens of employed, so the rate of unemployment is also decreased.
Yes, gentlemen, I agree with in my point of view. Startup, we create our own product and we making the manufacturing hub and it is good for our economy and GDP. So it also create the many employment in our country. So it is good startup.
Yes, friends, I am totally agree with you. But to start unicorn, the first of critical thing is that is finance. Due to lack of finance, the most of startup companies are failed. For that, government give the plan of many schemes like Make in India, due to which the business avail to start a business and also include in startup.
Friends, I'm agree with you. I add more point. As we know, some startup unicorn get lost day by day, like Swiggy, like Zomato, and many other.
Friends, our government are launched many schemes for to development our economies like local for vocal. So it is very big benefit for our industries. Materials and our many industry are also became a self-dependent, and it also given a big chance and a big opportunity to many other western countries, and so their western culture also big effect on our religions and our cultures, so we can reduce when we are industry are development in India, and it is also increase employment in every field.
The number of permission required to government agencies to start unicorn is a major problem, and the government has allotted to 1,000 crore rupees and create the opportunity to self employment, and many startup become in start unicorn, and because they write lesson learned and implemented.
If we talk about
Dear
the
friends, as we know,
unicorn
recently
companies
Jaipur
in
has
India,
become the newest
increases
unicorn.
employment for the people of India indirectly way. There are many companies in according to a data February 2022, India has 5 decacorns, which means startup that reached the valuation of 10 billions. Decacorns in India are Flipkart, Paizu, Paytm, Oyo, Swiggy. If we talk about the physics wala unicorn dash company in India, which valuation in 8,000 crore in 2023.
Today our topic is unicorn. So first of all, we have to know what is unicorn. The company who just startups one across $1 billion is named as unicorn company. Unicorn is a predictable animal who have only one horn. And the rank of India in the unicorn company is the third after USA and China. So in the global index report of 2022, India has 87 unicorn company, but in 2023 India is only fifth to sixth unicorn company. So unicorn company is decreasing in 2023. This is bad for us. And when the unicorn company is increasing, our GDP is also increasing, and people get employment in our country. That's all.
And I agree with in my point of view. A good startup, we need a good infrastructure and a better facility to start their startup. And government should simple their paperwork and also provide some better loans to start their startup.
Dear friends, I am agree with you as a startup company provide the better opportunity for the poor people. The poor people get the opportunity to do the job in the companies, and government also implemented some schemes by giving many more effort on a startup, because the startup needs a lot of finance. Science and technology are the necessary things for a startup, but lack of infrastructure, this could not properly.
Friends, I'm agree
I,
with you. I add
I
more.
agree with you, my
Uh,
dear friend. The end of the 20th century, India saw rising of the software hub of the world. Some of the success India icon, Unicorn and Lensguard, credit Miso,
yes, friends, I'm
etc.
agree with you.
Hence, the startup India is increase to our economy and very important roles to increase the employment. But sometimes, as we say that our India are the infrastructure are very low, and it is not. We cannot say that we are only startup in India. We are also available in any times for the any countries. So we need implemented. The governments are also providing many opportunities to implement it.
We are all know
Friends, I'm agree.
in the
I add more
Global
point.
Unicorn Index 2021 report, India ranked third in the world after US and China. After the several startups reached a valuation of 1 billion in 2021, 14 as a unicorn.
Yes, friend, I agree with you, and I would like to add a point that anybody can start unicorn company. As an example of Alok Pandey, he have nothing to start up, but he work very well and he work hard, and then he will the owner of unicorn company of physics wala. So this is very good thing for our India that anybody can start up.
Yes, friends, I'm agree with you. Add more point. Due to a startup unicorn, it create jobs and reduce unemployment. And due to a startup unicorn, it improve the our economic condition and also GDP.
Yes, friend, I agree with you, but I want to add one more point here that the total number of unicorn in India is 111, and the first unicorn of India was Indian Premier League, which is now a decacorn with the net worth of $10.9 billion.
I am agree with you, and I can say that startup in India is very beneficial for our citizen because every middle class family to start our startups like many sector in educational and any professional and e-commerce sector. So I can say that it is good for our citizen.
Yes,
Yes,
dear
I
friends, I
agree
am
with you,
totally
my
agree
dear
with.
friend.
As we know from
I would
previously
like to
2019,
say,
there are only 17 companies, but now it's turned into better, and now it's reached to 117. If it's carry on continued regularly, then as we know, India is third largest company. Then it should be turned definitely on the first rank by taking back US and China.
yes, I agree with you, my dear friend. I would like to say my opinion on this topic. A unicorn is any privately owned first firm with a market capitalization for more than 1 million. India has become third largest startup economy system
Yes,
in
friends,
the
I
world.
agree with you. I
As
want to
we
say
know that
that India is
startup
a
provide
third
us
rank to
service and goods, so it required more workers for regulate. Then it reduce the unemployment in India and it will increase our Indian economy. It will very helpful for us. Thank you.
Yes, friend, I agree with you. I want to say that India is a third rank to unicorn company. It is good for our country because if we founded these type of country, then we can save our brand and situation. If our students have no proper package, then they do brand. So this is not good for our countries. And if the unicorn company increase day by day, then many foreign country also invest in our country because to show their marketing because they have a large population, so they have found a cheap labor, so this is good for our country.
Present time in
Yes, friend, I am agree with you, and I can say that our government is
startup
also start a startup India through the
growing.
startup.
More startup will emerge as unicorn.
Yes, dear
Yes,
friends,
friend.
I'm totally agree with you. As the most better thing about startup in Unicorn Revolution is that the people of rural areas get the opportunity to the job in the big companies and make self-employed, and this could lead the our country to make a developed country.
I
Friend,
would like to add one more point that our government is running many schemes to support the startups in India. One of them is Mudra scheme. With the help of Mudra scheme, startups can get loans by bank and can stabilize their business.
Dear friends,
yes,
also government also issued 1,000 crore rupees for the people so that they could be employed in different sectors.
friend, I am agree with to all candidate, and I can say that our government is also provide many opportunity and many schemes like startup in India. Through the startup in India, our government promote many entrepreneurship like through the startup in India, our India's rank third globally in startup sector. So I can say that it is good for our country and it is also helpful to increase our G- economic growth. and it is also promote our employment because India is a big populated country and lack of our country in job. So I can say that startup in India is a good scheme in our country.
Dear friends, as we know, India is most populous country. As startup is the mostly providing in the expansion of Indian economic by giving a startup of big companies and the people of rural areas get involved in that. This art could lead in better expansion of Indian economic and GDP, and this should be a better sign for our country.
Yes, friend, I would like to add one more point here that our government has launched a program called Make in India program. With the help of this program, red tapeism is reduced in India, and now it is much easier to start a startup in India.
In my point of view, government should take a more further steps to improve in that, so that the lack of finance should not interrupt or hinder in the startup of new business. So government should take another or better opportunity for the finance so that the businessman could emerge from better startup to become a unicorn company.
Yes, friend, I agree with you. In my point of view, we can say that by startup of the India, every ordinary people can get chance to start their business, and because they have talent and creativity, and our government are also support and give many opportunity and facility, and our social media is now become a power, and many.
And I am agree with you.
Dear
And this
friends,
is the
I
good
want to
for
join.
sign for our country, India, to become a developed country in the future. Because when unicorn company is increasing day by day, they pay the tax of they pay tax to government, and our economic and the GDP will be growth in the future. So this is very good sign for our country, India.
Yes, friend, but in the present time, there are many excuses for the joining startup and income because the paperwork is so time taken and they not support the people and the government officers have take more times and they have not improve and it is the threat for the our unicorn.
Yes, friend, I am agree with you, and I can say that startup through the startup, our government provide a middle class family to promote entrepreneurship, and through the startup scheme, registration fees already registration process is very easy. So I can say that government provide many application through the phone. You can application our startup. So I can say that government launched many scheme, but our our government employees are not to creative this field. So I can say that government should take many step to promote the startup in rural areas because of rural areas people are not aware this program. So if a government take many steps, then it gives many very beneficial for our country.
Dear friends, I'm
And I
totally
totally
agree
agree
with
with
you.
you.
But the
As you
two
can
main
say,
things
government
are is that
encourage
science and
of
technology and lack of availability.
startup
And
in
this
India,
should be
as
mostly
one
you
done
one
can
in
one
see
please
rural
of
आपकी
areas
आवाज समझ
because
में नहीं आ
startup in
रही है.
India launched by our Prime Minister in 2016. So through the schemes, many persons joined startup in India, and he starts his own business in becoming year.
One after. Yes, I agree with you, my dear friends. In the Global Unicorn Index 2021 reports, India ranked third in the world after US and China. In the business world, a unicorn is a startup that reach a valuation of 1 billion.
dear friends, I'm agree with you. As we know, science and technology and finance is the two pillars to initiate startup. Dear friends, in my point of view, in rural areas, many become companies should be made so that the rural people get employed in that because in urban areas, many companies are established, but in rural area there is not a lot of companies that are established. As we know, rural people are migrating from village to urban areas so that they could earn some money. And when the startup or big companies are made in rural areas, then they should be self-employed.
Agree with the former speaker. As you know that a startup India can be very beneficial for India, but because as you know that if the startup India will be implemented in our country, there are a lot of the scheme will be provided our government, just like a Make in India, and it is a very beneficial because it can be produce a lot of the employment rate in our country. And also you know that there are a lot of the company which can be make the unicorn company, and because of that India have the more than 100 unicorn company, and it is a very beneficial because if the more have unicorn company, then lot of the investment will become in their particular country. So in my opinion, this is a very good because it can be also generate our GDP. Thank you.
Yes, I
Yes,
agree
friend.
with you, my dear friends. Some of the success Indian unicorn are Lenskart, Miso, etc. And of the 20th 20th centuries, so India rising as the software hub of the world.
Friends, as we know, day by day, the India's target on a startup is increasing. The result behind this is that in 2008 there are only 70s, and now this increased by 117. This could lead in our country for better development, and it's the major role of this is providing employment to the poor people.
Yes, friend, I am agree with you, and I can say that government should take many steps to economic support our citizen. Because of startup in India, government should provide 10,000 crore to all people, and another many facility like starting 3 year government not should take any taxes through the startup in India. So our youth is also interaction these startups and start many startups, so is very beneficial for our youth, and they not depend in a government job, they start our own business, it is good for our youth. So I can say that startup in India is a good scheme our government.
Agree with the former speaker. As you know that because of the startup India, it is the very beneficial because as you know that if the startup will be increases day to day in our country, then as we know that India will be become the developed country in all over the world. So that's the very beneficial because as you know that if the and there are a lot of the there are a lot of the unemployment in our country will be increases. So if the people can be depend upon and he can be started their own company, then it is not useful for that a particular person, but it also useful for the our economy also. Thank you.
Yes, friend, I am totally agree with you, and it is in present time that is not applicable for every person government job, and in this time we can also support the startup and unicorns, and we can also involve in that types of things, and that is the very essential in these days startup and unicorns, because we can also build their future better in the comparison that the government jobs, because government have also support and give more opportunities to improve ourselves.
Dear friends,
Some
I
of
am agree
the
with you. And finally, I give my opinion that day by day, the startup in increasing, which
so
could lead to a better increasement in the employment, and this would lead for the better future for our country.
some of successful Nikolai me there are the problem in infrastructure like science and technology, and that play important role. And through Mudra schemes, through Mudra scheme, and startup borrow from banks and to set up and for startup and unicorn.
Partially agree with the former speaker. As you know that we are living in a digital era, and as you know that in our country there are a lot of the device which can be just like a mobile phone, laptop, and etc., which can which have a lot of the people. And that's why there are a lot of the company who can be started their company by the advertisement of the mobile phone. And because of that, there are a lot of the company will be increases their startup, just like MBA chai wala and physics wala, which can be also increase and set up their companies because with the help of the smartphone. So it is a very beneficial for our nation. Thank you.
Yes, friend, in the present time, startup and unicorns have also played a good role in after the digitalization, and digitalization is also support the unicorn and startups because many more unicorns are dependent on the smartphone and digital platforms. And like student like PW have also provided the many job opportunities for the youth as a teacher, and that also provide a online platform to introduce themselves, and that is the very beneficial in the present time. That also give the reduce the unemployment rate.
Yeah, friends,
Yes,
I'm
friend.
agree with you as you say that digitalization is play an important role in startup and unicorn, because as we talk about physics wala, the digitalization is totally help that because the student got interacted with physics wala mostly from online studies. That's led the physics wala become a unicorn of India.
Yes, friend. I am agree with you, and I can say that startup in India, startup not only face not only good for education but also many commerce sector like MBA chai wala and many other. So I can say that startup through the through the through the social media we can reach many village areas. There areas people are not aware for startups. So I can say that many educational channel are also promote our startups like through the social media. So I can say that social media play an important role to encourage these type of startups.
Yes, I do agree with my friend, and I would say that startup is a business enterprise in the form of private limited companies, sole proprietor, and any other type. Startup is an initiative of our government India. It was launched by our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi. It is an excellent plan to develop our economy system and promote across the world. And I would say that government is also offering the various banking schemes to promote startups. And it is registered in India, which was started less than 5 years ago and leave annual turnover of less than 25 crores. So I would say that there are many advantages of it. Thank you.
Startup and unicorn plays important role in our country, and it increase the economic growth of India. And Wala, RWA, and any other companies create the create opportunity of job, and
Yes,
the
friends. I would say that in my point of view, that it has some benefits. If someone start a business, then income tax exemption is available for first 3 years for him, and this exemption is available only after obtaining a certificate from Interminister Board. And friends, I would say that people are helped by government, like government launched many schemes and protection for intellectual property rights are also provided under this scheme. So keeping this point, I would say that it is a startup is very helpful for pupils. Thank you.
Finally, dear friends, I would like to add last point is that if startup is done properly, then people get employment because the one by one the population is increasing day by day. If the government established some many more startups, then the people of the country get involved in that and make themselves self-employed. And due to which that the people the country uh, progress toward the developed country. Thank you. Latest is JD over or not?